Dr. DesJarlais.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Perez,
Pleasure to be here.
for joining us today. In your testimony, you talk quite a bit about collaboration and honest dialogue, but no matter who I talk to down in Tennessee, whether it's bakers, manufacturers, or farmers, or anyone that's just trying to do the right thing for their employees and their families and their businesses, there seems to be some disconnect in the way I'm sure you honestly set out to run the department and the way the department has interacted and continues to interact with stakeholders. For example, Tennessee has Tennessee's 4th District is the home to the largest farm bureau in the United States, and agriculture is not just a way to make a living in Tennessee, it's a way of life. And no matter where I go, I have farmers bring up the fact that the department's ill-conceived and thankfully unsuccessful efforts to control not only how farmers run their farms, but how they raise their families continues to come up. But thanks to the outcry of the opposition and work of a lot of my colleagues in Congress, this campaign was ultimately abandoned. Can you assure my constituents in Tennessee that the Department of Labor, under your leadership, will not pursue this sort of interference in family farms again?
Certainly, we understand the riders that have been put in place, and we respect the will of Congress in that, and we will do that. The definition of a family farm, I've come to learn, is easier said than done. When I drive, and I spend a lot of time in rural Wisconsin, because that's where my in-laws have a place, and farms that I see up there don't list how many employees they have at their farm. They list who they are, and what has brought us in have been deaths, people in mostly grain silos who've been suffocated. And whenever we have learned during the course of our investigation that it fell within the definition of a family farm, we have left, and because we recognize the limits of our jurisdiction. We want to make sure that we promote safety, and we've really done a lot of work in that area, including child labor in this context. It's a very important issue.
It is, and I thank you for that. And so we can also assure that the department in future regulatory efforts will at least reach out to learn more about how to define family farms before making unilateral changes to farm regulations. Can we count on that as well?
Well, I'm actually very proud of the work that our OSHA folks have done in reaching out. They actually have a very aggressive safety outreach program for folks in the agriculture sector. And the biggest issue that I have seen, again, has been this grain silo issue. I spoke to a family who had lost a child, and he and his best friend were holding each other's hands as they were getting quite literally suffocated. And that's one of the many stories that you just reflect on over and over again. How can we prevent this? And I'm really proud of the preventive work that our OSHA is doing, and I look forward to working with you to figure out ways, because no parent, no constituent, regardless of the size of a farm, wants to bury their child, and that's what we're working to prevent.
Yeah, but as you said, we need to be very careful when we move forward with blanket regulations as well.